Today we are going to discuss the Jacob's coat of arms. But before we get started, we wanted to let you know that we offer genealogy research service at our website. Please visit us at coadb.com. Alright, there's numerous coats of arms here, a lot. We're going to start with the Jacobs family from the British Isles, and then we're going to get into the Jacobs family of Germany, then the Netherlands, and Belgium, and then the Jacob family from France. First is blazoned argent, a greyhound currant sable, a canton ermine's crest, an arm and armor, embowed, grasping a sword by the blade all proper. This belonged to the Jacobs family of Bristol and Gloucestershire, England. It was granted in 1811 to Isaac Jacobs, a merchant and the inventor of Bristol blue glass. He built the estate Belvedere in 1811 and was the son of Lazarus Jacob, a Jewish immigrant from Frankfurt am Main who moved to Bristol around the year 1760. Or a canton sable, a heraldic tiger's head erased of the field, langued gules. Crest, a heraldic tiger, passant, sable, resting the foot on an escutcheon oar. This was granted in 1633 to Thomas Jacob of Wootton Bassett in County Wiltshire, England. Or on a canton gules, an eagle displayed of the field, crest, a lion rampant, or supporting a crosslet fitchée gules. This belonged to the Jacob family of Dover in Kent, England. Sir Abraham Jacob was governor of Walmer Castle and the son of John Jacob, who was Serjeant of the Admiralty, who was son of John Jacob, Chamberlain of Dover, who died in 1627. Ultimately, they descended from Hugh Jacob, a shipowner, who died in the year 1558. Quarterly dancette sable and or in the first quarter a pelican of the last, for Jacobs of Ripple in County Kent, England. Herbert Jacob Esq of St. Stephen's, who died in 1725, succeeded to the Ripple estate that was owned by his father, Sir Abraham Jacob of Dover, who had purchased the estate. Argent, a chevron gules between three heraldic tigers' heads, erased proper, maned, and tusked or. Crest, a heraldic tiger passant, proper, maned, and tusked or. This is the coat of arms of the Jacob family of Bromley and Bow in Middlesex and of Gamlingay in Cambridgeshire, England. The Jacob baronetcy of Bromley in the county of Middlesex was a title created in the baronetage of England in 1665 for Sir John Jacob, a member of Parliament and a royalist during the English Civil War, the son of Abraham Jacob of Gamlingay, born 1572, who ultimately descended from William Jacob of Horseheath, who died in the year 1532. Another is or Goody de Sang, a border gules on a canton of the last, an eagle displayed of the field. Crest on a Mount Vert, a lion rampant, profess or and gules, supporting a crosslet batoni fitchée also gules. It belonged to the Jacob family of Canterbury in Kent, and of Woollavington and Somerset, and Walder and Whitfield and Sextrees, several different locations. There was Major General Herbert Jacob of the Bombay Army, born 1806, who we see here, and General John Jacob of the Bombay Artillery, born 1812, born at Woollavington in Somerset. They were sons of Reverend Stephen Long Jacob, born 1764, a vicar in Waldershire, the second son of Edward Jacob of Faversham, who was a surgeon, antiquary, and mayor, who was in turn the son of Edward Jacob, apothecary, surgeon, and mayor of Canterbury, son of Amos Jacob Esq of Barrow Hill, a medical doctor and surgeon, who was the son of Richard Jacob of Barham. He was also born by Brigadier General Sir George Legrand Jacob, born 1805, son of John Jacob of Roath Court in Cardiff, Wales. Here we have one granted in 1921 to Joseph Henry Jacobs of Manor Heath, Knoll Hill, in Woking, County Surrey, in England, the son of Chapman Jacobs of Swansea, Wales. Another argent on a chevron gules between three trefoil slipped sable on a chief of the second and east oil or for Jacob of London. We weren't able to find any additional details on here. We have a name listed here, but we didn't mean to leave that on the slide, so ignore that. Another is purple, ermine, and gules. 3 tigers' heads erased and counterchanged. Don't know the armiger and grantee on this one. If you know, please let us know in the comments. Same situation for the next 2 slides. Azure, a scaling ladder between a greyhound and chief and an annulet and bay sergeant. Per cross, argent and sable, a cross passant, quartered and counterchanged. And there was a Catherine Jacob, daughter and heiress of John Jacob of Middle in County Shropshire, who had a coat of arms and crest confirmed to her in the year 1563. Now over to Germany. We have Ludwig Friedrich Otto Jacobs of Potsdam. He was ennobled in the year 1861. Abraham Jacob, a wholesaler in Riga, who was ennobled in Vienna, Austria in 1803. Granted in 1653 to Peter Jacob, Council of Archduke Wilhelm of Austria, and Jacob, a commander of Hoxt. They were brothers. Coat of arms and crest for Johann Gules Jacob, born 1670, a court chamber director of the Prince Bishop of Würzburg, ennobled in 1717 as von Halleck, the son of Johann Stephen Jacob, a master rope maker. One for Matthias Jacob, alive in the year 1634. He was provision master of, looks like a Swedish regiment. One for Hieronymus Jacob of Nuremberg in Germany, alive in the year 1531. Here we have the coat of arms and crest of the of a Silesian noble family from the Principality of Nice. The male line died out upon the death of Caspar von Jacob in the year 1600. And the same family here, a different version of the coat of arms. Now the next 2 we aren't sure who they were granted to, but I list 2 possibilities. There was a Martin Jacob who was ennobled in 1646, a administrator at the Swedish peace treaty. There was also a Thomas Jacob ennobled in Prague in 1616. Same situation here. Not sure who this belonged to, but these are both possibilities. Another for Christoph Jacob from Pilsen, and to his cousins Caspar Jacob and Hans Jacob, ennobled in 1606 with the predicate von Jackeschau. Christoph Jacob from Pilsen and his cousins, again, same slide, or same information, different coat of arms. One for Georg Jacob, ennobled in Prague in 1586. He was a tax collector in Munster and an imperial chamber stoker. And also to his cousin Samuel Jacob. They were ennobled in Prague in 1603. And Samuel was a burgher of Breslau. Coat of arms and supporters for Caspar Jacobs, lieutenant captain at the Prague Military Equipment Commission, ennobled in 1817 as lords of Canstein. The next 2 are house marks, which aren't technically coat of arms. They're typically older. This was a patrician family from the Rhine. Stephen Jacobs from Maastricht left his city because of his Reformed faith and acquired civil rights in Cologne, Germany in 1580 and 1611. Had son Jacob. They were both merchants who founded paper mills. Another for a Martinus Jacobs, alive in the year 1680. All right, over to the Netherlands and Belgium. Jacobs of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And wasn't able to find who it belonged to, but it looks like there was a Nicholas Jacobs of Lille, who was ennobled by letter patents on May 29th, 1652. Jacobs of Brussels, Belgium. Azure, 3 escallops, 2 in 1. Here, the shield is azure, or blue, but in other sources it's listed as gules, red, or sinople as green. Jacobs of Brussels, Belgium. Jean Jacobs, born 1575, who we see here, a Brussels goldsmith and founder of a college in Italy. He was also born by Francois Hyacinthe Jacobs, alderman of Brussels in the year 1708. Jacobs of Bruges in Belgium, ennobled in 1743. Jacobs of Brussels, Belgium. Not exactly sure on this one, but one possibility is Nicholas Jacobs, ennobled in Brussels in 1549, tax collector in Munster. One for the Jacobs family of Brussels, Belgium, ennobled in 1674. Jacobs of Brabant, Belgium. Pierre Jacobs, alderman of Flanders. Jean Jacobs of Ghent, clerk to the Council of Flanders. Mary Claire Jacobs, alive in the year 1679. Jacobs of Schiedam in the Netherlands. Again. For M. Jacob de Charmelu, alive in the year 1683, advisor to Parliament. Also for Francois Bernard Jacob of Dijon in Bourgogne. And Marc Antoine Jacob, advisor to the king. Very old one from the 1300s from Austria for the Jacob von Cillian family. This one says Jacob of Prussia. And it says they were granted Russian nobility before the year 1816. One for Gerald Jacob of Reims, advocate. He was ennobled in the year 1776. And now over to France. Fairy Jacob of Nancy, ennobled in the year 1572. Jacob Clessy, or Kless, residing in Athene, ennobled in the year 1587. Jean Jacob, ennobled in 1628, said to be in the service of the house of Duke Francois. Jean Jacob, an alderman of Lyon, or Lyon, France, in 1772. Jean de Jacob, Lord of de la Coterie. Same coat of arms, the Crest. Jean Joseph Jacob de Bressy, a lieutenant and the son of Philippe de Jacob. Nicholas Jacob, alive in the year 1696, advisor and prosecutor to the king at the salt granary of Paris. Again, these translations are rough, so they don't come across perfectly. Jacques Jacob of Toulouse. Jean Jacob de Tigny of Anjou, knighted in 1786. The family had owned that stronghold since the 16th century. One for Aymar Jacob, a church canon in France, alive in the year 1696. One for Jacob des Pluches Hardun, treasure of France. For the Jacob de Kerjagu family from Brittany, France. Jacob of Picardy. Jacob of Ile-de-France, and that's the last one. And if you enjoyed this video, please visit us at coadb.com, where we offer genealogy research service, high-resolution digital JPEGs, and heraldic merchandise such as t-shirts, posters, mugs, and canvas prints. Like, subscribe, and share. Link in the description. Thank you very much.